One greetings from the high 10. This is Everyday Shenanigans, live number 2. Thank you for joining me. This is a two-part live pertaining to uh, funeral services to rapper Trouble. He was laid to rest yesterday. If you need any information pertaining to uh, the death and murder of Trouble and the funeral services, the eulogy, please go to my community board. It is posted to my community board. And also, all said information has been brought to the public via the YouTube queue. Thank you all so much for joining me. The second part of the live is pertaining to 31 people arrested in Idaho, ties to a nationalist group, hate group. I will bring you that said information in the latest update pertaining to why these people gathered in Idaho to riot for a public gathering pertaining to gay pride and said parties. The world is at odds right now. Many people are very angry and bitter, and it shows in different facets of life. People are hurting and harming and killing each other for the stupidest of reasons. They have no control over their anger, and they're just bitter. And you have to pray for said persons, because you don't want to end up becoming one of those people. Mad at the world, vengeful, hateful, spiteful. Hello, darling. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Mandy. Hello, Leslie. The first information is pertaining to rapper Trouble. God rest his soul. Amen. I will chop up information about him a little bit later because my commentary pertaining to the 31 arrests in Idaho is a bit lengthy. So I'll get back to Trouble at the end, but I'm going to play the information pertaining to his funeral services. 11 Alive is the source. If you need verification. Prayers to the family. Prayers to his children. Amen. And prayers to Atlanta, Georgia. They have a lot of uptick of crime in the metro Atlanta area. For those of you who follow said news stories and commentary. Thank you so much for joining me.
Father who loved and respected his family. That's how many are remembering Atlanta rapper Trouble, his real name, Morel Orr. Family, friends, and fans gathering today to say a final goodbye. Funeral services were held this morning at the House of Hope in Decatur. The rapper was shot and killed more than a week ago at a Conyers apartment. Rockdale County deputies arresting and charging Jamichael Jones with felony murder.
All right, that's a short, brief clip pertaining to services were held yesterday in Decatur. I'm going to bring you said information pertaining to Mr. Orr. If you need to watch the full eulogy, it is in the YouTube queue and also via my community page. I'm also going to bring you information pertaining to the woman who was in that bed with Trouble. She is now spoken. I'll bring brief commentary pertaining to what she has to say. I do not know if she has said anything else, but we will chop that up at the end of the live after I bring you the information coming out of Idaho. Thank you so much for joining me. I thought I had an article. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Just 1 second, please. I'm going to go ahead and just mention the information from the woman that spoke. Hip Hop DX is the source. The woman at the center of Trouble's brutal murder breaks her silence. This is uploaded the 13th of June. The murder of Atlanta rapper Trouble sent shockwaves throughout the hip-hop community and beyond. The 35-year-old artist was reportedly asleep in a woman's bed when her ex-boyfriend broke into her apartment and shot him in the chest, killing him. Now the woman at the center of the fatal domestic violence incident is speaking out. It took a lot for me to put my page back up, she wrote in an Instagram post. I don't like the evil things that's being said about me, all the false narratives and the threats. I don't have nothing to prove to social media. To the ones who know me personally, know my heart is gold and my story will be told. The situation has mentally messed me up and traumatized me. God got me, LL Trouble, my angel, quote unquote. You'll see a picture of Trouble in the first box, a picture of the young lady with red hair underneath. It's just... Now, perhaps she'll be coming out with more commentary. We will see when I get that set information. I will bring it to you. Trouble was shot and killed on Sunday, June 5th, around 3 a.m. in the morning. CBS 46 reporter Tori Cooper obtained the arrest warrant for 33-year-old Jamichael Jones, the woman's former living boyfriend, and the man police say is responsible for his murder. According to the paperwork, Jones reportedly woke the woman up by punching her in the face, and a struggle between Jones and the Def Jam Recordings artist ensued. During the altercation, Jones allegedly pulled out a gun, shot Trouble once in the chest, and fled the scene. Deputies discovered him laying on the floor when they arrived at the apartment and rushed him to a local hospital, where he died. The woman and Jones had been in a relationship for roughly 3 years, but she recently broke it off due to him being jobless and failing to pay his bills. After she dumped him, Jones allegedly punched her in the face and fled. Now, this is an incident before the murder. Though she called police, she never finalized the report. Why is that? Jones turned himself in on June 7th, and the judge set a preliminary court hearing for June 15th. He's facing multiple charges, including felony murder, aggravated assault, battery, and home invasion. Hip Hop DX is the source. Let me start with saying there are many rumors speculating pertaining to this woman, her involvement with Trouble, knowing her, not knowing, however you want to word it. I was watching someone's commentary last night, another YouTuber's content, and he was basically, in agreement with what was said by her via the report to the police. He was explaining to people in his chat that a home invasion means just what it means. He didn't use the key. There had to be evidence that he broke into the apartment. And like he said, the police would be, foolish to put that in a report and it not be true that the man broke in. Why say somebody broke in if they didn't? There had to be evidence that the man kicked in a door. And I didn't understand why he was trying to explain it, because you all know how I am as far as trying to explain common sense to people. If they say it was a home invasion, that's what they meant. Obviously, there's evidence to show the man kicked in the door. He breached the door. Doors can be kicked in. This is not a small guy. This is not a 5'6" guy. And depending on your chemical makeup, hell, you could be 5'6", 5'7", and still kick a door in. We don't even know what type of door it was. Wooden door, just a basic standard door. Doesn't have any metal built into the door. Metal doors are harder to kick in, but a standard wooden door can be kicked in. Doors are kicked in all the time. Houses are broken into, jimmied, keys, tools. So why is everybody shocked? You're entitled to believe what you want pertaining to what happened in that apartment. The only problem I have with said information, per the report, is the fact that she didn't file charges of the man hitting her after she told him she wanted him out of the apartment, arguing, whatever, about him not paying bills. I'm assuming she asked him to leave. Hey, I don't want you out of here. I don't want you here. He hit her in the face then. That was a week before the death and murder of Trouble. So why didn't she file a police report? Number two, via that same report, it is said that he had her car, Mr. Jamichael. So why would this man have your car? Why didn't you file a police report that car was stolen? As I said, did she have a second car? This is the only place in the story where Big Ange has a problem with the victim, female. Because I can't understand why you're wanting someone out of your home that's not helping you pay bills. Two, they're punching you in the face. They flee and allegedly had your car. There's two charges, assault and theft of an automobile. So one would have to ask themselves, what did she do for a living to where she didn't need a car for a week? He had to eventually return the car. You knew he would have to come back. There are many rumors circulating about the man had clothes there, blah, blah, blah. We don't know that because none of that information was ever revealed to the public, what the suspect had left in the apartment. We do not know if he took items with him when he left. Did he leave items behind? Did he actually take her car? Did he have keys to the car, access to the car? When did he return her car? How about that? When did Jamichael return her car? Because I cannot believe in Atlanta, you don't have a car. You don't have a car. You have access to a car, but this person who's beat you in the face now has your car. Why wouldn't you report the car stolen? I have not indulged in conspiracies and setups and all this type of nonsense because I'm going by the information brought by the police. And if the police deems anything suspect with what this woman has told, surely they would combat that in commentary to say, what was told to us we have not found to be true. We didn't see that the apartment was broken into. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't see the police having any reason to lie about 2, 3 people they don't know nothing about, don't know from Adam, to make up a story that this man broke into her house. Perhaps she was being stalked by Mr. Jermichael. He had been watching her. Or the worst case scenario, she baited him. And that will be the worst part of the scenario besides the death of Trouble, is that she told him she had company. She told him she was liking somebody else, interested in somebody else, perhaps had been messing around with the man. I do not know. But that will be the most disturbing part besides the death of a young black man, is that this woman baited this guy and told him, hey, I got somebody here, I got company. That will be horrible. And like I've told the chat, she's not going to tell police that if indeed that happened. Why would she tell them that? Yeah, I told them to come on over. I got a man here. I got a man in the bed. I got somebody better than you. I got a up-and-coming rapper, famous rapper, however you would like to, decipher his title. He gonna help me, woo, woo, woo. Like I said, we don't know, because we do not know the relationship between this woman and Trouble. We do not know how long they've known each other, if they had been seeing each other while she was dating Mr. Jermichael, if he met her out the night before, after he was performing, during a performance. So you have to ask all those questions. When did they meet? How did they meet? Is this a hookup? They just met that night, that week, a day before, 2 days before? Why did he go there without a weapon? Why would he let his guard down to go into an apartment of a woman he did not know? Let's say he didn't know her, just met her. So he just goes into this apartment blindly to get some sex, comfort, whatever, drinks, whatever. What is the truth behind the relationship between this woman and the rapper Trouble? Did he know her beforehand? Had they met before, dated, messed around, talked, friends, what? Allegedly, she's a rapper and a stripper. I do not know either title. I don't have verification of what she does. But like I said, I don't believe in accusing someone of doing something wrong or saying the woman set him up, tried to rob him, have him robbed. But you have to ask yourself, if you're going to say that, who's going to have somebody beat them in the face to say that this guy, to rob this man? Because if she's a stripper and a rapper, her face is her moneymaker besides her body. So why would I want to get myself beat up to rob somebody when I know that my face is a part of me making my money, my hustle? I would not. And naturally, he'd have to beat her bad enough to show, hey, I got beat up. You're entitled to believe what you want. But this is still a sad situation. Just like commentary I brought to you pertaining to the death of Felicia Johnson, 24, out of Houston, Texas. For those coming in who have not watched my commentary a little while ago, that woman has been believed to be dismembered by a suspect. And this is all due to the fact that she solicited herself on an escort website and met this man at his apartment, 2 apartments. So you see, this is what I'm trying to explain to people. You don't know everything. You'd have to verify things with the living and through social media and the cell phone text messages. That would be your verification. When people had contact, when they last talked, how did they chat? Messenger, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, date sites, websites, phone logs, so forth and so on. You don't know people. You see, every situation is different. One woman goes to an apartment to meet a man. Then he picks her up from that apartment, a dummy apartment, and take her to another apartment and kill her. This man goes to have sex with a woman, meet with her, whatever, transpired in that apartment. They're in the bed together. And here comes a guy busting in who was dating this woman a week before. You see, you could end up a victim in so many ways. No guarantee how you're going to leave here. And that is the sad part of these stories that I bring to you. You don't know how you will end up. And as they say, I'm sure each of these people did not think they would ended up dead on the night they went to meet somebody. And they're both similar because in Texas, she's meeting a man for sex. He's paying her, agreed to pay her $500. She goes to his apartment. It's no different in this situation. This man agrees to meet this woman. We can assume they met for sexual favors. Both agreed to have some type of entanglement. Could have just went there just to talk, laid in her bed, didn't have no sex. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. That's going to be the assumption because allegedly the woman woke to her ex-boyfriend beating her in the face. But nonetheless, two separate cases, two different parts of the United States. People are meeting for engagements with another human being inside of their apartment. One's meeting for sex with a man in his apartment. She's now dead, believed to be dead and dismembered. Body not found. Mosey on down to Atlanta, Georgia. A rapper goes to a woman's apartment for an entanglement, and now he's dead. Shot in the chest by her ex-boyfriend. Later dies at the hospital. You don't know people. That's the sad information. Story number 2. Oh, mercy. There's some busy bees. The world is at odds. People are very vengeful, spiteful, angry, mad. Don't like gay people. Don't like LGBTQ, whatever. Just a bunch of nonsense. People are entitled to be whoever they want to be, and nobody has the right to infringe on their choice of being, choice to gather. Today is the source of this said information. "31 suspected white nationalists arrested near Idaho Pride event." This was uploaded a day ago. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Want to donate to the channel? $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chat stickers are welcome during this live.
This U-Haul truck just small town in Idaho. Dozens of suspected white nationalists zip-tied and arrested after Coeur d'Alene police found the group crammed inside this U-Haul truck just blocks away from a gay pride event.
No one should fear going to a pride celebration because of a white supremacist.
The men, clad in riot gear and masks, one of them wearing a shirt with the words "Reclaim America."
These guys stopped a U-Haul full of dudes.
Authorities say they got a 911 call Saturday from someone who spotted the men at a hotel and described them as a little army.
They were all wearing similar attire. They had shields, shin guards, and other riot gear.
Police say they also recovered at least one smoke grenade and paperwork similar to a military operations plan that included heading toward a park nearby where the Pride Festival was underway.
I don't think this would have been as successful had we not had one extremely astute citizen who saw something that was very concerning to them and reported it to us.
All 31 men are now charged with misdemeanor conspiracy to riot. Investigators say they came from 12 states and appear to belong to a network called the Patriot Front, described by the Anti-Defamation League as a white supremacist group, formed after the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia.
If you look at their language, if you look at their symbols, if you look at their ideology, it is white nationalist to the core and deeply dangerous.
During Pride Month, filled with so many celebrations nationwide, many in the LGBTQ community now on edge.
It just hurts my heart to know that these people want violence for us. And we don't want violence for anybody.
No word yet on when the group will make their first court appearances. They have not commented publicly. The local police chief tells us there have already been online threats towards police officers involved in the arrests. Hold on.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez. Gabe, thank you.
Today, NBC is the source. 31 men arrested. I did not hear that any women were arrested. If so, I will stand corrected. Oh, mercy. Excuse me. Excuse me. Allergy season. Lordy me. All right. Let's see what else we have pertaining to these goons. This is sad. Very sad. Here's CBS Mornings. It's another commentary pertaining to these crazy nonsense. I've got 2 other content pertaining to this arrest. Hold on. CBS Mornings is the source.
Possible domestic terror attack over the weekend. 31 men were arrested, all dressed alike, allegedly on their way to wreak havoc at a pride event in the city of Coeur d'Alene. They were found standing in the back of a U-Haul truck. All had traveled from different places, and police believe they are members of a white supremacist group. Senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge is following this for us. Catherine, good morning.
Good morning, Nate. The FBI is assisting local police in the investigation. For now, each of the 31 people arrested faces a misdemeanor charge for conspiracy to riot. Law enforcement believes the participants are connected to a white nationalist hate group.
They came to riot downtown.
Coeur d'Alene's police chief said it was clear that alleged white supremacists intended to start a riot before they were taken into custody near a pride celebration Saturday. Authorities recovered gear including shields, shin guards, and a smoke grenade.
These guys stopped a U-Haul full of dudes.
A witness tipped off police after watching the group load into the back of a U-Haul truck at a hotel and said they looked like a little army.
They appeared to be affiliated with the group Patriot Front.
Groups that monitor extremist ideology say Patriot Front promotes fascism and the creation of a white ethno-state. It was founded in 2017 after breaking off from a neo-Nazi organization that participated in the Charlottesville, Virginia Unite the Right rally. The man convicted on federal hate crime charges for driving his car into a crowd of protesters and killing one of them was affiliated with that original group.
They are twisting and manipulating and misusing the idea of patriotism, but promoting a white supremacist version of patriotism.
Cynthia Miller-Idris tracks domestic extremism at American University and told us Patriot Front's members are overwhelmingly young white men. The group arrested Saturday ranged in age from 21 to 36 and were from a dozen different states. None was local to Coeur d'Alene.
What does the incident in Idaho tell us about the overall threat picture? We're seeing this broadening out of the targets that people across this supremacist spectrum are choosing to intimidate or harass or harm. It is part of a broader range of anti-democratic and extremist types of events that are happening.
In this case, the apparent target was that pride event, which organizers say was the largest North Idaho has ever seen. As for the 31 defendants, police say they're scheduled to be arraigned later today. They include Patriot Front's alleged leader, Gail.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much.
CBS Mornings is the source. Thank you all so much for joining me. That was source number 2 pertaining to the 31 arrested in Idaho. I will play you one more piece of information pertaining to this. King 5 is the source. Thank you so much for joining me.
Just a few blocks from that Pride Parade, a parade that drew hundreds of people to downtown Coeur d'Alene, law enforcement says they've been tracking this group and suspects that all the individuals detained show ties to a white nationalist organization. Coeur d'Alene police praising the actions of a quick-thinking 911 call.
I don't think this would have been as successful had we not had one extremely astute citizen who saw something that was very concerning to them and reported it to us.
Saturday afternoon, that person reporting a, quote, little army loading into the back of a U-Haul. 10 minutes later, police make a traffic stop. This video shows the moment that truck's door slides open. 31 people arrested, all with suspected ties to the white nationalist group Patriot Front.
They had shields, shin guards, and other riot gear with them, including at least one smoke grenade.
The arrests happening just blocks from North Idaho's Pride celebration, an event that organizers say drew hundreds of supporters.
We have been through so much, so much harassment and attempts to intimidate, on the psychological level. And the truth is that if you allow yourself to be intimidated, you let them win. And what we have shown today is that you will not win. Love will win.
Police now working alongside federal law enforcement to process all 31 arrests. The men representing at least 10 states, including Washington and Idaho, and as far away as Texas, South Dakota, and Virginia, all held on conspiracy to riot, a misdemeanor charge and a jail stay. Police are confident may have stopped something far worse from happening. Police are commending the quick thinking of that 911 caller. They also say they've been working with the FBI and have been monitoring various group communications ahead of this weekend's Pride event. In Seattle, Sebastian Robertson, King 5 News.
King 5 is the source number 3. Thank you all so much for joining me. What is their problem? They say this group broke off from a group that had rioted Charlottesville, Virginia. People have the right to gather. It's your right to gather. It's your right to protest. Rioting is a totally different thing. When you count the fact that they had gear such as, armor, shields, what do you need a shield for if you're just going to protest? So that's why I said there's a difference between protesting. There's a difference between rioting. There's a difference between spewing out what you like, don't like. There's a difference between throwing things, using bodily force, smoke grenades. Once again, why do you need shields? Why do you need smoke grenades? That shows you you're going to do something you have no business, which is infuriate the people at the event. You're going to wreak havoc. Did they have weapons on their persons? I didn't hear of any weapons seized. I also heard that maybe one person was from Idaho. I'm going to bring you the said names of the people and ages and the states that they were representing. Kudos to the person who called 911 because, as they said, imagine had the person not called. This would probably be another tragic event because you can't explain why you as a person would travel across the country to protest, riot, an event pertaining to gay people, bisexual people. Why do you care, for one? Why do you care? It makes no logical sense. So you had to be trolling an event that you thought you could give your presence, make your presence, and wreak havoc. And it's ridiculous because people have the right to gather for whatever event it is pertaining to. And no one has the right to go and disrupt it and show out because a lot of people have events, whether it's for Black Pride, Gay Pride, White Pride, whatsoever. Nobody has the right to go disrupt it, whether you like the message or not. Now, I do have a problem with white supremacy, these alleged white pride groups, because I know the intent is not cohesive to healthy living. Ratchet idealisms, trying to lure people to hate other groups of people. Life is short. The time you spend worrying about a black man, a Mexican man, a Jew, Arab, is a waste of time. People are killing each other in all facets of life. So you're sitting here worrying yourself about a group of people you don't know. They're not your friends. They're just random civilians. It's ignorant. And it shows you that we still have racist people here, ancestors of more ancestors spewing venom, raising these ignorant people to go out here and wreak havoc when they should be trying to live their best life. I'm going to bring you the said commentary. Thank you for joining me. CNN.com is source number 1. The 31 people arrested in Idaho have ties to a white nationalist group planned to riot at a pride event. Police say, here's what we know. Uploaded yesterday, June 13th. After an alarmed 911 caller reported a group dressed like a little army getting into a moving truck, police in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, arrested 31 men believed to be linked to a white nationalist group who had plans to riot at a weekend pride event. The large group, which police believe was affiliated with Patriot Front, was seen at a hotel piling into a U-Haul with riot gear, the caller told a 911 dispatcher. They were later pulled over and arrested, Coeur d'Alene Police Chief Lee White said. The group was headed to a Pride in the Park event at Coeur d'Alene City Park. The event included a pride walk and performances by local musicians, dancers, and drag artists. Local and state police were plentiful on high alert Saturday because they wanted to make sure this event went off safely, Mayor Jim Hammond said. They also received threats about a separate group meeting in another city park, threats that turned out to be unfounded, he said. Hammond referred to those arrested as young men who seemed to not have a purpose, asked what he thought the group might have done had police not thwarted their alleged plans. He said, I have not seen that these people had any firearms, so I think it would have been mostly just disruption and trying to cause fear. Police found at least one smoke grenade, White said. All 31 individuals were from outside the local area, Hammond said previously. Just 2 are from Idaho, according to a booking summary from the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. It's unclear why they picked Coeur d'Alene out of all the pride events going on in the nation, but Hammond said, perhaps they thought they could get away with more in a smaller community. I agree with that. Like Coeur d'Alene, a city of about 50,000 residents just over the Washington border from Spokane. The North Idaho Pride Alliance, which organized the event, released a statement Sunday saying its members were resting after successfully organizing a momentous, joyful, safe Pride in the Park community celebration under the most challenging of circumstances. We are deeply grateful to law enforcement agencies who were present and professionally responding. Here's what we know about the arrests. Police received report of a group dressed like Little Army. There was a large police presence at the Pride event after authorities received information. There were a number of groups planning to disrupt Saturday's activities, White said. Police did not have information that Patriot Front members were coming, White said Monday. We had some information that there might be some individuals who are loosely affiliated with some of the groups who were planning to protest the Pride event that day, and so we were adequately staffed for it. But we didn't have any intelligence that there was going to be a riotous group coming to this event prior to the 911 call that we received, he said. Interesting. A concerned citizen called police Saturday afternoon to report approximately 20 people jumped into a U-Haul in a local hotel parking lot, the chief said. The group was equipped with shields, masks, looking like a little army, the caller said, according to White, About 10 minutes after the call, officers stopped the U-Haul and detained 31 people. They were charged with misdemeanor conspiracy to riot, he said. The group was dressed similarly, wearing khaki pants, blue shirts, hats with plastics inside them, the chief said. They were also equipped with shields, shin guards, and other riot gear, along with papers White described as similar to an operations plan that a police or military group would put together for an event. It is clear to us, based on the gear that the individuals had with them, the stuff they had in their possession in the U-Haul with them, along with paperwork that was seized from them, that they came to riot downtown, White said. I think some of us were a bit surprised by not only the level of preparation that we saw, but the equipment that was carried and worn by those individuals, along with the large amount of equipment that was left in the van when the stop happened, White said at a news conference Monday. That level of preparation is not something you see every day, the chief said. City, state, Kootenai County police responded with 2 SWAT teams, White said. I don't think this would have been as successful had we not had one extremely astute citizen who saw something that was very concerning to them and reported it to us, he said. Officials aren't releasing the identity of the caller to protect that person, White said. Since myself and other members of our agency have been receiving threats, including death threats, I think it is appropriate that we withhold that person's information at this time. Of course. Why would you tell it? Makes no sense to tell it. The men were released from posting bond, the county sheriff said. They're due back in court at a later date. The individuals came from a dozen states, according to a booking summary from the sheriff's office. 7 are from Texas, 6 from Utah, 5 from Washington, and 3 from Colorado. 1 was from far as Alabama. The youngest is 20 years old, and the oldest is 40, according to the summary. Coeur d'Alene police are leading an investigation with the FBI's assistant spokesperson, Sandra Yee Barker from the FBI says. Police arrested at least 2 other people in connection with the Pride event, authorities said. They were charged with disorderly conduct and trespassing. Men affiliated with white nationalist group, police say. In addition to the clothing associated with Patriot Front, Most of the men had logos on their hats consistent with the Patriot Front group, and some were wearing arm patches associated with the organization, White said. The Patriot Front believes their white ancestors conquered America and bequeathed it to them, according to the Anti-Defamation League. Members espouse fascist and anti-Semitic beliefs, which they spread through propaganda campaigns, the ADL says. The Texas-based group was formed following the deadly 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, when members of the white supremacist group Vanguard America split off to form their own organization, the ADL says. Inside this article, you will see the ringleader that they are naming by the name of Thomas Ryan Russo. Among those arrested Saturday was Patriot Front leader Thomas Ryan Russo, Kootenai County Sheriff Sergeant Shane Mullane said. Russo led several dozen members of the Vanguard America Texas during the Unite the Right rally and later led to a contingent of Virginia members to create Patriot Front. CNN has reached out to the Patriot Front and people believed to be associated with Russo but did not immediately hear back. Coeur d'Alene residents and businesses have long made it clear the city is too great to hate, going back to the early aughts when the Southern Poverty Law Center helped the city shut down an Aryan Nations group with a compound north of the city, Hammond told CNN. "We're not going back to the days of the Aryan Nations," Hammond said at the news conference Monday. "We are past that, and we will do everything we can to ensure that we continue to stay past those kinds of problems," the mayor said. "We are a culture of love, kindness, and we will continue to be." So it says, a previous version of the story incorrectly stated that CNN had reached out to Thomas Ryan Russo's legal representative. It's unclear if he has legal representation yet. That is a correction. Mr. Russo's picture, mugshot or whatever is in this said information. And I'm going to repeat again his affiliation. It said Russo led several dozen members of the Vanguard America Texas during the Unite the Right rally and later led a contingent of Virginia members to create Patriot Front. He is one of the people arrested on Saturday, and he is the Patriot Front leader of the said organization. So he's a little hellraiser that wants to be seen, Mr. Russo. CNN, source number one pertaining to the 31 arrested. Thank you so much for joining me. Hold on one second while I upload more information. Let's see. Let's start off with the names of the people arrested. Then I will give you the information pertaining to the death threats made to the police department. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you. Here are the names, photos of 31 arrested for the conspiracy to riot in Coeur d'Alene. Police stopped the U-Haul in Coeur d'Alene Saturday, arrested 31 who were inside. They have ties to a national hate group. This was uploaded the 13th of June. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office released the identities of 31 people arrested in the U-Haul Saturday afternoon where a pride event was taken in Coeur d'Alene. Police stopped the U-Haul on Northwest Boulevard near the skate park and Paul Bunyan after a concerned citizen made a call to 911, alerted them to the suspicious activity. Inside the back of the truck, police found 31 men wearing same clothes, including khakis, navy blue shirts, beige hats, white cloth covering their faces. Inside the back of the U-Haul, police said they found evidence of what appeared to be a homemade riot shield, protective equipment. Police said they also found at least one smoke grenade. They came from 13 states. The men arrested: Michigan, Texas, Alabama, Colorado, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, South Dakota, Washington, Oregon, Illinois, Arkansas, and Missouri. Here are the names of the arrestees. Thank you for joining me. Jared Michael Boyce, 27, Sorgenville, Utah. Nathan David Brenner, 26, from Louisville, Colorado. Colton Michael Brown, 23, from Rovendale, Washington. Josiah Daniel Buster, 24, from Watauga, Texas. Michelle Joshua Buster, 22, from Spokane, Washington. I'm assuming these two are related. Josiah and Michelle Buster. Kevin Devin Wayne Center, 22 from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Dylan Carter Corio, 21 from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Winston North Durham, 21 from Jeunesse, Idaho. Joseph Garrett Garland, 23 from Freeburg, Illinois. Brandon Mitchell Haney, 35 from Kaysville, Utah. Richard Jacob Jessup, 21 from Idaho Falls, Idaho. James Michael Johnson, 36 from Concrete, Washington. James Julius Johnson, 40 from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Connor Patrick Morris, 27 from Hazlet, Texas. Lawrence Alexander Norman, 32 from Prospect, Oregon. Justin Michael O'Leary, 27 from Des Moines, Washington. Cameron Cathan Pruitt, 23 from Midway, Utah. Forrest Clark Rankin, 28 from Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Thomas Ryan Russo, 23 from Grapevine, Texas. Connor James Ryan, 23 from Thornton, Colorado. Spencer Thomas Simpson, 20 from Ellensburg, Washington. Alexander Nikolai Sistenstein, 27 from Midvale, Utah. Derek Joseph Smith, 24 from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Dakota Ray Tabor, 29 from West Valley City, Utah. Stephen Derek Tucker, 30 from Hazlet, Texas. Wesley Evan Van Horn, 34 from Lexington, Alabama. Mitchell Frederick Wagner, 24 from Florissant, Missouri. Nathaniel Taylor Whitfield, 24 from Elk Ridge, Utah. Graham Jones Whitson, 31 from Hazlet, Texas. And Robert Benjamin Whitted, 22 from Conroe, Texas. They came to riot downtown, Coeur d'Alene Police Chief Lee White said at a news conference on Saturday. Based on evidence collected in documents, authorities found the group was planning to riot in several areas of downtown, not just the park. This is a developing story by KREM2 News. If you need verification for said information, thank you all so much for joining me. 31 arrested from different parts of the United States, as low as Alabama and Arkansas, all the way out to this state, Idaho. Long way to travel just to say, I don't like what? Gay people, homosexuals, transgendered, which is so ever. Why? Why waste your breath? No weapons obtained. Amen. I think I have one more source, and this is NBC News. Thank you for joining me. Idaho officers getting death threats after arresting 31 Patriot Front white nationalists near Pride event. The majority of the threats being made appear to be groups outside of the local community, Coeur d'Alene Police Chief says. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to play you the said information here in just a second. Thank you all. Hello, Bat Cave. Hi, is everybody in the chat? Thank you for joining me. Let's see if this information can upload here. Let's see. It's not playing. I don't know why this audio is not playing. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, we'll just read you the information. Idaho police say they've received death threats since arresting 31 men affiliated with the white nationalist group Patriot Front near an annual LGBTQ plus event over the weekend. Coeur d'Alene Police Chief Lee White spoke to reporters Monday, saying that his department has fielded about 149 calls in the aftermath of the arrest. He said about 50% of the calls have been praised from the community who offered their names and expressed pride in the department. The other 50% who are completely anonymous, who want nothing more than to scream and yell at us and use some really choice words, offer death threats against myself and other members of the police department merely for doing our jobs, White said. Those people obviously remain anonymous. Officers have also received threats of doxing, practice in which someone publishes personal information, such as phone numbers, address online, White said. The majority of the threats being made appear to be from outside the Coeur d'Alene community. According to the chief, 911 caller reported seeing a little army of people in masks, with shields, and a U-Haul truck on Saturday. Responding officers stopped the vehicle. About 10 minutes later, 31 people with similar attire were arrested. White said the 911 caller will not be identified. Since myself and other members of my agency have been receiving threats, including death threats, I think it's appropriate to withhold that person's information, White said. The 911 call and body camera footage would be made available at some point, White said, but did not say when citing the ongoing investigation process. Police had received prior threats from the opposing groups leading up to the city's annual Pride in the Park event, which highlights the civil rights struggles of LGBTQ plus communities. Additional staff were allocated to the Pride event, but there was no intelligence specific to the Patriot Front group, White said. White praised the 911 caller for their diligence in reporting what they saw, saying it likely prevented a dangerous conflict. This one concerned citizen, rather than pulling out their phone and recording this for 15 minutes on YouTube, very funny, or Snapchatting it or something like that, took the time to call 911 to report some suspicious activity, White said. And as a result, we likely stopped the riot from happening downtown. White confirmed he observed documents in which the group allegedly planned to create a confrontation, including the use of smoke grenades before retreating down Sherman Avenue. It didn't delineate which group exactly, whether it was police officers or the Pride people, but that they were planning to confront, White said. It was more vague than that. Of course it was. One smoke grenade was found among the suspects' belongings, and they wore arm patches, logos on their hats that identified them as members of Patriot Front, White said over the weekend. The Southern Poverty Law Center identifies Patriot Front as a white nationalist hate group. The nonprofit says the group was founded with the help of other neo-Nazis in Texas immediately following 2017's deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, which left the event's organizing group Vanguard America in shambles. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office released the identities of all 31 who were arrested, all of them charged with one count of criminal conspiracy and bonded out of custody. It's unclear if they have all retained attorneys. Of the entire group, the only 2 were listed as residents of Idaho in the sheriff's booking report. The rest of the group included 7 individuals from Texas, 6 from Utah, 5 from Washington, 3 from Colorado, 2 from South Dakota, 1 from Alabama, 1 from Wyoming, 1 from Oregon, 1 from Illinois, 1 from Arkansas, and 1 from Missouri. It's unclear when the suspects will appear in court. Among those identified was a man with the same name as Patriot Front's Dallas-based founder, Thomas Ryan Russo. An email sent to the address listed for Russo requesting comment was not immediately returned Monday. That is said information pertaining to this Pride Day that was an attempt to be disrupted by this group. It's very sickening and sad that people can't gather. People just wanting to have enjoyment. And as this chief says, isn't it surprising the person didn't go to YouTube or social media to air the event first? They did the right thing and called 911. Finally, you have somebody that stepped up and said, I'm going to do the right thing. Something doesn't look right here. And that's what's so crazy. How did they all travel to Idaho? Because the fact that the U-Haul truck was there with them standing up, one would wonder, were you all stupid enough to ride in the back of a U-Haul truck standing up? Did some drive their own cars? Or did they all pile into this U-Haul somewhere in America? They met somewhere, got together, and piled up in a U-Haul and traveled all the way. That lets you know your mindset is warped. Only a fool that's free to roam the earth would pile in the back of a damn U-Haul and travel miles across the country to disrupt a Pride event or any type of event. Doesn't matter what the event is. It shows you need help. You need mental help. I'm going to see if I have some audio to play. I was trying to see if I could find something with the chief speaking. Hold on one second. Can't seem to get audio.
Really not from, from our law enforcement partners, but from the press. Has community been handling this? I will tell you that I had one of our captains assigned to listening to all the phone calls this morning, and of the 149 calls that we know of so far that have come in, they're about 50-50 split between individuals in our community who are happy to give us their name and tell us that they're proud of the work that we did, and they're happy to be a part of this community. And the other 50% who are completely anonymous and who want nothing more than to scream and yell at us and use some really choice words, offer death threats against myself and other members of the police department merely for doing our jobs. Those people obviously remain anonymous, don't tell us where they're from, although we had a call as far away as Norway. I think it's my impression so far that the majority of the supportive things that we're receiving are coming from members of our community, which is Mayor Hammond just spoke about is a fantastic place. And then we obviously have the hate groups from outside that are giving us their opinion as well.
All right, everybody. That's the police of Idaho giving his commentary on the death threats. Why are you all threatening the police? They're just doing their job. They're not going to just let you come in their city, no matter what their ideologies are. That is their job to protect and serve. So they can't just let you come in the city and disrupt an event. Doesn't matter what the event is about. That's their job, to protect and serve. He mentions that a call came as far as Norway. That doesn't surprise me any. So you're also bored too. You're all the way in a whole another country. You're in Europe. And you have nothing better to do with your time than naturally scroll social media, bored, another hater, calling an American police department to threaten the police department chief and their said officers. Why? You don't even live in our country, and you're all the way over here meddling in something that doesn't concern you. That's why I said these people are sick, they're ill. Instead of these people utilizing the oxygen that's been afforded to them free and live their best life, they can't. They're scrolling social media to find groups they don't like or care for, to see when they're gathering, and hey, let's all get together and pile up in a damn U-Haul and trek across the United States in a hot-ass U-Haul to wreak havoc on innocent civilians. And as he said, if that person hadn't called, there's no telling what would have happened. No weapons were seized, but who's to say? They didn't have them planted in another area, a car. You don't know. But they would have definitely used force by arm, foot, hand, leg. You had shields, so that means you would have been pushing people with the shields. Ward off any type of movement from fists, hands, arms, throwing items. Why? So you don't like gay people, homosexuals, bisexuals, transgender, whatsoever. So what? What do you care? Why do you care? You're going to waste going across country to get yourself arrested or killed because you don't like a person that you don't even know. Just think about that for a second. Whether you agree with their behaviors or not. And I won't be surprised if some people in the group are undercover bisexuals, homosexuals, because you usually find that out later down the road. Mad at yourself because you are in that group. Now you have a problem with the people in the group because you're one of the people in the group. People are sick. And then you have information about this Rousseau, who's a leader of this group. Let me get it correct. It's very sad to me. I think it's in my other information. Mr. Rousseau has been a very busy bee. He wants to put his foot in everything. Patriot Front. It's a white nationalist hate group. The group was founded with the help of other neo-Nazis in Texas immediately following the 2017 deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, which left the event's organizing group Vanguard America in shambles. Very sad. One of the men identified with the same name as Patriot Front's Dallas-based founder, Thomas Ryan Rousseau. 9 times out of 10, that's him. Sir, why are you so bent on wreaking havoc, being angry with people you don't know? If you don't care for homosexuals, bisexuals, black people, Mexican, other nationalities, deal with it. So what? Most of those people that was in Idaho were white. How about that? I doubt that there are a lot of black people running around Idaho. I said that. So most of those people that were gathering in that park in Idaho were 9 times out of 10 Caucasian, white Europeans. White America's descendants of white Europeans. How about that? So you're sitting here wasting your breath. Go make a fool out of yourself to have to bond yourself out of jail. You're still going to have to come back to that state to appear in court because you don't like some other white gay person, Mexican, Jew, black, whatever, that you don't know, never met. I don't even understand the mentality of that. See, one day you all got a problem with this group. Black people, Black Lives Matter, Mr. Sharpton, this person, that person. Now you got way over here in this little corner of the earth, a bunch of white folks, because more than likely, as I said, there's a bunch of white people gathering that are gay or supporting LGBTQ plus community. Are you going to travel all that way to do what? To your own people that look just like you. So if you were passing them on the street, you wouldn't know what they were or how they identified themselves. You met them at the Starbucks, Walmart. So this is when you know you're stupid and foolish. You sit here wasting your life hating people that look just like you. It's the same thing with Asian people. Japan don't like China. China don't like Japan, or however it goes. They look similar. You can tell the difference if you really stare at the nationalities. But in the end, you favor. The same thing with third world countries, such as Iraq, Iran. All that's the same. You all have dark hair, brown skin, but yet you hate each other. It makes no sense. You look like your neighbor, but you hate your neighbor. You sound like your neighbor, but you hate your neighbor. See, this is where you know people are idiotic. Spending your time hating people because they are different than you. You don't have to like the gay man, gay woman. The gay man who wants to dress in skirts, dresses, live a life as a woman, vice versa. I don't have to agree with it. But the point is, I'm not going to spend my every waking hour trolling social media groups and events to spew venom on social media, get in people's inboxes, doxing them, as they've said here, doxing the police authority, Ellie, whomever, doxing somebody that made a comment that's in agreement with the said group of persons. It's a waste of life. Now, worst case scenario, you're hopping up, meeting with these people like you're getting ready to go do something important. Travel all the way across the country with shields and shit and covering your face because you don't want to be seen. Hey, I thought you had pride in being a white man. Why is your face covered? I noticed that in the photographs and the video. They all had their face covered. Why? You're supposed to be proud. No, because you don't want people to see you getting arrested. If indeed you get arrested or you're caught on camera throwing something, pushing somebody, enacting violence. But that defeats the purpose in going, is it not? You went there knowing that's what you wanted to do. So why is your face covered? Because in the end, you're a coward. You and all you other cowards have gathered together to wreak havoc on American soil against people you do not know and people that do not know you. Because you're insecure with yourself. And if you have to cover your face to riot, that means you shouldn't be rioting. Take it like a man. Show your face. Your mugshots are already on file because you've been arrested. So that defeated the purpose of wearing the mask. Face coverings. We're in a sick world. People are very vengeful, spiteful for no damn reason. You do not have to like other types of people, their color, their size, whatever. How they live, who they're dating. That is their choice. But when you decide to harass the people, dox the people, send them threatening letters, mail, parcels, try to hunt them down on social media sites, or go find them directly, you need to get help. And your ass needs to be in jail, because it cannot be tolerated, wreaking havoc on innocent civilians because you don't like the way they are living. My earlier commentaries pertaining to the rapper Trouble, as I told you all earlier, the woman has spoken out, the woman who was in that bed with the rapper. She has given her commentary that she has received all type of nasty commentary about her, narratives that are not true. But she has to know that this is expected when you are in a high-profile situation, such as having a well-known rapper in your bed who is later shot by your boyfriend. I do not know what actually happened in that bedroom, what was said. I do not know the relationship between the rapper and the woman, between the rapper and the suspect. Did Mr. Trouble know Jermichael? Had they had some type of relationship, dealings with one another? What was the relationship between the woman and the rapper? Had they been talking, dating, sleeping with each other, hooking up? What? It is alleged that she's a rapper / stripper. It is alleged in the report to the police that she tried to put the man out, I guess, or told him he had to leave, or basically he wasn't paying bills. So I'm assuming she asked him to leave a week before. He left, but hit her in the face. She did not file charges, which I find suspect. The fact that allegedly he had her car, I find that suspect. Those are the only two things I have a problem with in the story that the woman gave to the police. But naturally, it is stated in a police report that the man breached the door, kicked the door in. So that means, why do you all have a problem with the information? Naturally, if they saw that the door was not broken into, they would say it. The door does not appear to be broken into. Why would they have to lie? Naturally, she wanted him out of her house, apartment, whether his name was on the lease or not. Let me make that clear. If you're not carrying your weight, a person has a right to tell you, you can't stay here. So it doesn't matter to me if his name was on the lease or not. That has not been verified either. It has not been verified that he had clothes left there. The right thing to do would tell him to get out, would be to tell him to get out. How long can a person carry somebody else in their home where they are not supplying monies to pay bills? 2, if they're violent. He hit her the week before the murder. So who's to say he had not been punching her before, beating her up before? You want me to believe this is her first time mentioning to him, hey, you're not helping me with the bills? He's possibly been beating her. But I don't understand why he would have access to her car, and why she would let him keep her car, and why she didn't report the car stolen, and why didn't she file charges that he had hit her. Those two things are suspect to me, but I do not agree with that it was a setup, because allegedly there were injuries on the woman that she was beat up by Mr. Jermichael. So as I said earlier, why would I let somebody beat me up to aid in setting the rapper up to rob him? And it does not say that Mr. Trouble was robbed of any personal effects. Car not stolen, jewelry, money, credit card, yah. How long has he known the woman? What was the relationship between the rapper, and this woman? Did he meet her the night he went out? Day before, week before, 2 weeks before? What? There's alleged he had a girlfriend. Why was he in the bed with this woman and not his girlfriend? What did he tell his girlfriend on that fateful evening before going out to perform? After performing, did he speak to his girlfriend? Tell her he was going in? Did they live together? Maybe that's why he didn't go home. He doesn't live with her. Is she an actual girlfriend? So you don't know. Women can come out and give commentary. I miss you, this and that. But we don't know who the main line was. And in the end, doesn't matter, because we're still talking about a dead man. He's not alive, no matter who is considered the girlfriend, who he considered a girlfriend, main piece, main line, side piece. He is dead. There's no coming back. And now all these crazy people making up stories about what happened in that apartment. You don't know what happened in the apartment. Only the 3 know, and one's dead. It was also said by police that the suspect appeared fearful but showed no remorse. He's fearful because he knows there's people in Atlanta in the jail that possibly want to do harm to him. And he doesn't know that anybody in the jail could possibly know the rapper. But that's his choice. And that's the choice he made when he stole that man's life and shot him in the chest. And was it worth it? How does Jamaica feel now knowing he's killed a man and he will possibly do life in prison? It is also alleged the woman talked to the guy the same day or the day before, the ex-boyfriend. Well, if she had talked to him, what were they talking about? Did she call him? He called her. How many times had he been calling her in the past week? Had he been trying to come over, knock on the door? Had he been watching her, stalking her, bothering her, calling, messaging? Has she been calling, messaging him? Did she want him back? Did he want her back? Was he asking to come back to the apartment? It is obvious she changed the lock, because if the door was breached, why would I need to breach a door if I have a key? So see, this is why people need to stop making up stories about situations you know nothing about. If the police says that the door was breached, then that means he didn't have a key. That means she had to have changed the locks. If she changed the locks, when did she change the locks? Did he actually have a key to the apartment? It says they lived together. They've been together for 3 years. But who's to say that he had a key? There's some men I've known that live with women, and they didn't have a key to the house. How about that? Some of you will find it hard to believe, but I know someone who lived with a woman, and when he came from out of town, from visiting paying his respects to his sister who had died, the man couldn't even get in their own house where he was living because the woman didn't even give him a key, which I thought, how could this work out? A man is staying in your house, don't have a damn key to your house. But he lived there. His clothes were there, but he didn't have a key to her house. See, that's why you can't assume that you know what's going on in a person's personal life. Thank you, Benita. Who's to say he had a key? Who's to say he wasn't coming and going out of her house for 3 years? He wasn't paying bills. See, you don't know. You're assuming he lived there. His name was on the lease. He had a key. But what doesn't make sense about the story is the fact that he hit her a week before the death of the rapper. She didn't file charges, and yet her car allegedly. Those two things are very troublesome to me. And I'd like to know why she didn't file charges for assault a week before when he hit her in the face, when she was telling him she wanted him to, he wasn't holding his weight. Did she ask him to leave, or did he leave on his own? 2, why would he have had her car for a week? How did she get around without a car? You know, are there bus systems out there in Conyers or no? I do know that there is metro transportation in the city limits of Atlanta, but how far out does it travel? Bus and train. You ask all those questions because that information has not been revealed. And no matter what you think of the situation between the 3 participants, in the end, Trouble did not deserve to be killed. Because if he was invited into that apartment, then it is what it is. He was invited. Did he know that she had a man beforehand, a week before? Did he know they just broke up? Did she tell him? Did she tell that man that another man was in her bed that morning? Had the 2 been messing around beforehand? Did he just meet her that night, wanted to hook up with her? Did he know her as a rapper, stripper, from a club, private dancing? So you don't know. And the dead man can't tell no tales because he's dead. Please follow my content from an earlier live I did pertaining to Felicia Johnson. For those of you coming into the chat, Felicia Johnson is believed to be dead, dismembered by a male, 28 years old, who's on the run. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers in the Houston Police Department. They have evidence of DNA from the apartment where he lived, cell phone data, Google searches that tie him into killing Felicia Johnson. He ordered an Uber on that fateful day, sent for her to one apartment where he was living at one time. Then he shows up to that apartment, picks her up, and takes her to the current address where something went terribly awry in that apartment, and he killed her. They have information from his account where he took out $500 to pay her for sex, which makes no sense because if that was the agreed amount and transaction, why did he kill her? So you see, the two are similar. A woman goes to a man's apartment with him, ends up dead, dismembered, discarded. No one has found her body or parts of her body. And then here in Atlanta, Georgia, a man goes to a woman's apartment for an entanglement, and he ends up killed by her ex-boyfriend. See, you don't know people. And you have to be very leery entering in people's houses, apartments, homes, cars. It's all the same. Hotels. You don't know people. And don't assume a person won't kill you in a hotel room. Even though they put their ID up there for the room, book the room. A sadist is a sadist. And I do believe this suspect is a sadist. He has a foreign name. I can't pronounce it, and I'm not going to try. But he is currently on the run. And this child, this young lady, went to the city trying to dance. But perhaps maybe she thought she could make quicker money by being an escort. That is her choice. Was she an escort beforehand? I do not know. When she lived in California. It's neither here nor there. That was her choice to do what she wanted. But sadly, she lost her life in meeting this man who withdrew money from his bank account, sent an Uber to pick her up. He then goes to that first apartment, which is very strange, which shows intent to me to do harm. Because to me, that means he didn't want to leave a trail. But yet you still used an Uber app to send for her. So you had to have used a card with a name on it. And that's how law enforcement got the trail. Her cell phone data and his cell phone data. You see, you always leave a blueprint. And if there's some funny business pertaining to this case with the rapper Trouble and this woman, I suspect that the law enforcement down in Atlanta will bring forward any information that deems suspect on part of the woman and the suspect. If indeed she lied in any way, misled Mr. Trouble to the apartment for devious reasons, robbery and or whatever, I would suspect that all phone data will be seized, and they are looking into her cell phone, Mr. Trouble's cell phone, and the cell phone of the suspect. If there are any discrepancies in her version that she gave to the police. If you see something, say something. We live in a very troublesome world right now where you are a target no matter who you are. You can be hurt in your home, coming out of your home, store, school, work, concert, venue. The devil is busy. And he will go wherever he sees fit. And he will use people to harm you, to wreak havoc. And the sad thing about working for the devil is that he doesn't pay you anything. And people have not figured it out, the minions that work for him for free. The devil has never paid anything. And the price that he pays can cost you your own life. Because you can't think you'll go out here and take a life and won't surrender your own in exchange. What happened in that apartment at Conyers, Georgia, should never have happened. That man should have never gone in there. Maybe he didn't know the man was in there, the rapper, but it doesn't matter. He went in there beating that woman up in the face and obviously saw that she had a man in her bed beside her. The man woke up, intervened. They're all struggling together, and he shoots him in the chest and flee. And now she's walking around being demonized by the public, by some people, as having something to do with the death of the rapper. And imagine the girl who is the girlfriend, was the girlfriend. She's probably very disturbed herself. How many women friends did he have? Or girlfriends, however you want to word it. Imagine thinking you were the only one, the main one, but he was out here sleeping with different women. You'd have to be very disturbed inside, devastated that you care for somebody who could not be faithful to you, remain faithful, and then going out here in the street lying with different women, and then he ends up being murdered in the bed house of the said woman. While you're sitting here at home wondering where he is, what he's doing, he's fighting for his life. You see, you don't know people. And you men need to be very careful going into women's homes and houses, such as women. You need to be very careful going into the homes, hotels of men you don't know. And it doesn't matter what the arrangement is. Once the door is closed, all bets are off. Prayers to his family and children. Prayers to Miss Felicia Johnson's father and family, friends, California, Houston, Texas. Prayers for any woman or man that's in the sexual industry. Know that you have to be very careful going alone to meet up with a person for any reason. And it doesn't matter what reason you're letting someone into your home. It could be to work on the cable, internet, maintenance repairs. You dated somebody, it didn't work out. Somebody could be stalking you. Somebody could come over to borrow sugar. Once the door is closed, all bets are off. And as my aunt once said, it doesn't matter that you agreed to have him come over for whatever reason. That when the door is closed, it doesn't mean he will play fair. That's my commentary. You all have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. If you'd like to donate to the channel and the Dream of Everyday Shenanigans, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you for the kind words and following the contents, the compliments of the community posts. Prayers to the victims in this commentary. Rapper Trouble out of Atlanta, Georgia. And prayers to Felicia Johnson, California. Prayers that she will be found, even though it's not whole, but we're just going to pray. Prayers that the suspect will be apprehended. He is currently on the run. So if you see something, please say something, because this man is diabolical and he is dangerous. Call Crime Stoppers, Houston Police Department. Thank you all so much for following the content. God bless all of you. This is Everyday Shenanigans.